Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. I am your host, Derek Andre, and it's a Thursday night, y'all. Beautiful Thursday night. I don't know where you are, living in Atlanta, Georgia, and the weather was glorious today. I mean, glorious. I mean, it was warm and sunny. People were out. I'm like, man, I cannot wait until springtime, which is right around the corner. Now, if you someplace where it's cold, you have my condolences. I just want to apologize right now because y'all gonna be cold for a few more weeks, man. And I just, I feel for you. My heart goes out to you. I say a silent prayer for you, and hopefully the groundhog won't see a shadow, and then you'll go ahead and get some warm weather. But guess what? We got a great show for you tonight. We got an artist coming on tonight from the Our Purpose Music Showcase. And this brother, man, when y'all hear his music, if you love like jazz, hip hop fusion, I promise you, you are going to enjoy tonight's guest. So without further ado, let's bring in my brother FKA Jazz.
Yo, what's up? How you feeling?
Oh, I can hear you. This is hot.
Amazing. All the
Look,
technical
hold on, man.
difficulties.
Hold on, man. I got to give you love, man, because I'm looking at your background, man. Sometimes we do interviews, man. Folks just be chilling, man. My brother's like, I'm at the studio.
Oh
That
yeah,
means when you get done, you're going to work, right?
this is where I live, man. I'm like working on an album right now, so I'm like literally like this is where I live, bro.
Well, brother, we thank you for taking time out of your new project, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later in the show.
Beautiful.
But I'm glad to have you on, man. In case you guys didn't know that FKA Jazz is, let me go ahead and look at my notes down here, is a Grammy-nominated Billboard charting saxophonist, producer,
Yes,
and
sir.
DJ.
Yes, sir.
Bruh, I have not seen those three elements in one description in quite some time, man.
Yeah.
Saxophonist, producer, and DJ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
So I'm actually originally from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
I've been living in New York for since 2004. So it's been a
Mm-hmm.
minute, since I've been
Okay.
here. I mean, to be honest, like, no disrespect to my Houston fam, but I feel more like a New Yorker now that I've been here for like pretty much like half my life. So
Yeah.
it's been really interesting because I moved here in pursuance of being a jazz musician, like a
Yeah.
lot of instrumentalists that moved to New York. I moved here from New Orleans. I did my undergrad in New Orleans and then popped up here to do my graduate studies at Manhattan School of Music.
Okay.
Was totally just like on the trajectory of becoming like a jazz musician, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right out of school, I was like touring, going back and forth to Europe and Canada and Asia. And one of the reason why I am a Grammy nominated instrumentalist is because of a jazz record that I did together with this really great alto saxophonist named Miguel Zenon. And
Okay.
so at one point I just felt like I was a little bit limited in
Mm-hmm.
what it was that I was doing. I'd never really been one to just like peg myself into like one genre.
Yeah.
But because of the trajectory of like, going to school for jazz and then obviously like being in the jazz scene in New York, I was kind of just doing one thing and
Yeah.
decided to kind of take a break and like step away from the jazz scene and became a producer and, was primarily producing at the beginning electronic music and
Okay.
fusing like jazz and electronic music. And then, that turned into me starting to DJ,
Mm-hmm.
obviously because of that genre of music.
Right.
And then in 2016, I really decided to take a departure from like electronic music and really go into the roots of how I grew up listening to music, which was hip hop. R&B, just Black American music as a whole, and fusing that with the traditions of jazz music, like improvisational music. And and now we're here in 2022.
So let me ask you this. You're young.
Thank
and that's
you.
a blessing.
Yes.
I remember my youth.
Okay. That's what's up.
But young jazz musicians always intrigue me. You know what I mean? Because it's just a genre of music that young artists are not generally drawn to. You know what I mean? You got like Robert Glasper and I can't think of the brother's name. I can see his face. I can't think of his name. If I blurt it out, don't think I got Tourette's or nothing. But why jazz? How did you come to love jazz so much?
So that's a really great question. And shout out to Rob Glasper. That's actually someone who I went to high school. I went to the same high school as him in Houston. He's also from Houston, Texas. And so I started playing saxophone when I was around 8 years old. It was kind of a funny thing because honestly, like I started on piano when I was 3. And
3?
Yeah. I know. I'm a little bit nuts.
No, man, that's dope. I like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I started on piano when I was 3, and then a year later started also playing violin. Because
at 4 you were playing violin and piano?
Yes.
Oh man, this is gonna be a good interview.
Yeah, my sister and my brother, my older sister and my older brother, they were cellists. I was too little to play a cello, so they handed me a violin.
Which is a shrunken version of a cello.
Exactly. So funny enough, that's how I started playing violin. And then just snooping around my parents' bedroom, I found a saxophone under my mom's bed, and later found out that her first husband was a jazz saxophonist. And I was like, I thought I was like snooping and getting myself in trouble. So it took a minute before she realized that I was like secretly going into her room and trying to play the saxophone. She like caught me one day and was like, we could make sure you get some lessons on saxophone. And that's how that ended up happening. And just being a saxophonist, obviously, there's like a trajectory of like learning jazz music because when you're in school, it's like, okay, you're playing the saxophone, you can join the symphonic band and you can join the jazz band. And it took me a minute to actually be able to join a jazz band. I was like, like kind of at the bottom of the tier when it came to the people around me, because I was going to what's called in Texas magnet schools, or like performing arts schools. And I was in like one of the top schools because I was already playing violin, and then I kind of switched to the saxophone. So yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a natural transition to start playing jazz, and through that, I really love jazz.
So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take our first break. And while we're on that break, we're going to play some of your music for our listeners so that they can start getting just a little sample of FKA Jazz. All right, guys, you're watching the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. This is a Purpose Music Showcase, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
I'm Charles Meriday, and I'm in the restaurant business. In my 20 years as a chef and restaurant owner, I've been able to work and eat in some of the great kitchens around the globe. There's a whole side of the restaurant that most people will never get to see. So now, I want to take you to the back of the house, into kitchens of some of the best chefs in the world. Along the way, I'll share some of my own tips and recipes so you can cook like a pro too. So join me in the back of the house for a whole new perspective on cooking and food. Order in. Roger. Serve it, please.
Buona Pasqua.
I'm glad that you came. Please.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too? Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too? Tempo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. And this is a special Our Purpose Music Showcase. And I'm joined by this super multi-talented brother, FKA Jazz. Listen, man, I got to tell you, the animated version of you is a beast, man, because he was drinking that that hot coffee like it was like water, man.
That's hilarious.
I'm watching the steam go, bro. He's standing there. He like, yeah, this ain't nothing.
Hey,
His
man.
top lip just blistered up, man. Just all sorts of blisters on the
Coffee in the morning.
All right, man. So let's talk about Good Soul Coffee. Tell us what was the inspiration behind that particular jam, or was there inspiration, or was you just feeling it? And how much of it is you? Is the whole entire track you, or is it like collaborations with? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this song is really fun. It was really fun for me to do because it was a song that was a part of an EP called Sexually Active Volume 1.
I like that. I like that.
So all the homies out there, you can get you a Sexually Active t-shirt right now at fkjazz.com.
Come on, plug it. Plug it.
But yeah, you know, I put this record out in first as a single in September, and then I put the whole EP out this past January. And it was a really fun record to put together because I had been doing a lot of collaborating with artists throughout like my tenure as FKA Jazz starting in 2016, and just wanted to like kind of end this era because, you know, in February, actually tomorrow, I'm going to be starting to release house music again and electronic music again.
Okay.
And I wanted to like kind of staple this era of, you know, this jazz, hip hop, you know, R&B era that I kind of created for myself. I wanted to staple that with a solo project. So I just kind of put this together as something that was like, you know, all the instruments I performed, the drums I programmed, and it was just something where I just wanted to, I literally took a day, created all of these tracks, and then the next day performed all the saxophone tracks, and then, you know, was done. And I just wanted to kind of culminate like a lot of the things that I had been learning along the way and the influences that were created throughout the different collaborations that I had. So that was kind of the inspiration. It was literally like a stream of consciousness. So yeah. And then I just kind of named them based on the theme of it being sexually active.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's a good concept. So how did it feel for you when you first realized that you were now Grammy nominated? How did that feel?
You know, if I'm like to be extremely candid, I didn't really think much of it. Because you know, honestly, like being Grammy nominated is cool, but like at the same time, it wasn't I wasn't Grammy nominated for a record that I had much other than playing saxophone on. You know, it wasn't my specific project. So I'm definitely hoping in the future to be Grammy nominated, Grammy winning for a project that I've produced myself under my name. But this was a little bit like, it was cool, and it was like all of a sudden I could say I'm Grammy nominated. I'm a Grammy nominated saxophonist. That's awesome. But you know, the wind of that kind of like, for me, it was like, it's cool, but on to the next thing.
Okay, no, I feel that. Was the Billboard being on Billboard, is that go hand in hand with that Grammy nomination?
No,
same project.
This was a lot bigger. So this was the Grammy nominated project. That was somebody else's project. Me being on Billboards, that came from my 2019 album, my sophomore album as FKA Jazz, called Beautifully Awkward. And
Okay.
so that was a really proud moment. And I really, I mean, it was just amazing to be in a position where not only was able to put out music that was, received so well, but to also have the recognition behind it is, that was amazing because I put a lot of soul into that project, into that album. And it just felt really great to have it validated in that way.
That's awesome. So the name FKA Jazz. Now, I was reading through your bio, and you work with different groups, and that's not your birth name. His birth name is not FKA Jazz, ladies and gentlemen. How did you finally settle on FKA Jazz, and what is the FKA?
Yeah, so I guess first off, FKA stands for formerly known as.
Okay.
And then FKA Jazz, formerly known as Jazz. And to me, that's a definition of, myself as an artist, not being pegged down to one genre, but looking at the whole scope of Black American music and the history of that. And then also, the music itself being something that is not just, it's not just jazz, it's not just hip hop, it's both. It's not just R&B, it's all of those things. It's not just house music, it's all of those things. So that's kind of where that name comes from.
Okay. So I tell you what, we got a couple minutes before the next break. I was looking again, just kind of checking out your bio, which is quite cool and quite extensive. It has a few different artists on here. You work with the Jason Marsalis Quintet, Nicholas Payton, John Baptiste, but I see you work with my girl, Jill Scott.
Oh yeah. That was that was through Nicholas Payton, actually. He this was around the time when right before I was about to leave New Orleans to go to come here to New York. And he just hit me up randomly and was like, yo, I have this project. We need to put a big band together for a couple songs. And, I didn't even know what the project was for until I put my cans on and we started playing. And then Jill Scott's voice is in the background. And I was just like, yo, what are we doing here? It was amazing.
That's hot.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what, when we come back from the break, we're going to try to just tell us which songs those were, because I'd like to know.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have more with FKA Jazz. You're watching the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase, and this is Our Purpose Music Showcase. And like I said, I'm joined by my man, FKA Jazz, formerly known as Jazz. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Quilly. I'm a stylist and I've always wanted to do this. It's like in my blood. I go to the grocery store and I literally tell you, I would be the girl that would be in Trader Joe's in an evening wear because that's who I am. So today we are doing a little bit of styling for the fall. I have all of the pieces that you need for your fall wardrobe. the knits, the button down, the jackets, the boots. I have all of that. You're gonna see a lot of red, a lot of like mustard yellow, a lot of checkered, which is what is on the runway this season. I really believe that I was meant to be in the Victorian era because I absolutely love bows and lace. So everything for me is bows and lace. If it has bows or pockets, I am that girl who would buy it. So you're going to see a lot of that in the pieces that is going to be on Katie today, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. The color scheme is for any color skin tone. It'll be fabulous on you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. I'm your host, Derek Andre, and I am joined by my man, FKA Jazz, super producer, saxophonist, DJ, all
Yes,
the
sir.
above, man. What's going on, brother? Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Unfurled World, man. Tell me the
Mhm.
concept behind that and the concept behind the video, because that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much. That was one of the first of a few DIY videos that music videos that I put together. You know, I bought like this like pretty nice camera and decided to, you know, just have some fun with it. And that was featuring a really good friend of mine who goes by the name of Dave Levy. Dave Levy's great trumpet player. Who you heard on that record.
I was gonna ask.
And what's that?
I said I was gonna ask too.
Yeah, Dave, man. Dave is super cool guy, man. I've known him for a while. He's like born and raised in the New York area. And so I've known him for a while since I moved here. But yeah, you know, the concept of that record, Unfurled World, was I wrote that song around the time of like the height of the pandemic, before we had, you know, vaccines and all that stuff, and we could kind of get back to some normalcy. And it was just like kind of one of those pieces that just, for me, I wanted to be able to like timestamp the current situation that we were kind of all dealing with. And that's why like there are parts where we don't have masks on and parts where we do, and we're like kind of just like running around the city, and there's a lot of like overlays of like different things, because I wanted to also try to depict this visualization of you know, it's hard to focus, you know, that like there's so much information and misinformation coming at us, and like everybody's trying to just figure out what's going on with the world. And you know, now we're also trying to figure out again what's going on with the world, because, you know, it could be like World War III in the next like you know, a little bit. But yeah, that was the basic concept of that song. And it was great to be able to, in the midst of the pandemic, do that video, because you know, that was probably one of the first people outside of my wife that I had seen in like real life. Like after a while. Yeah, it was really fun, because I was like, yo, we should do a video, and I know it's gonna be crazy, like, but we can make it happen. And I Ubered over to Harlem to meet with him, and like, it was nuts. It was nuts.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, so we've covered the saxophonist, FKA Jazz. We've covered the producer, FKA Jazz. Let's talk about the DJ.
Yeah,
we haven't quite covered that part yet. And I'm looking, you got a new project that'll be dropping real soon here, of Space and Earth.
Yeah, exactly. So of Space and Earth, I'm dropping the first single tomorrow. You know, I'm not sure if this is airing live or if it's airing later, but live. Tomorrow, as in Friday, February 25th, my sister's birthday, actually.
Hey, happy birthday, sis.
Yeah, that's what's up. Happy birthday to her. But yeah, you know, the first single, which includes an extended mix, is called Air. And the full project is called Of Space and Earth. And you know, I've been DJing since about 2008. Like I was saying before, I started with the electronic music, and then eventually started DJing hip hop and R&B. And when I DJ, regardless of the genre of music, I also play saxophone as well. And so
Wait. So you DJ and you play saxophone?
Yeah, exactly. Which is really fun, because I get to like, in a way, like reinvent each of the songs. So, you know, obviously I'm DJing not just my own originals. I'm DJing like, everything from Jay Dilla to, Deadmau5, and
Right.
I play saxophone on top of those joints and like kind of reinvent them in a really cool way.
Okay, so I gotta ask because I mean the DJing aspect of it is challenging enough.
Oh yeah, of course.
So how do you incorporate playing the sax in? How do you do that? How do you make that work?
It took a lot of practice for one.
No, you get out of here.
but yeah, also like just full disclaimer, I'm not DJing vinyl. That's a whole other art form. It took me enough years to learn how to play the saxophone, so I'm just kind of leaving it at that. But I learned how to DJ using Ableton Live, which is a really cool program where you can do a lot of looping. And so because of that, because it's more on the kind of, I guess you could say, electronic side, because it's not actual vinyl that you have to go from one deck to the next back and forth in order to create loops. You can program all your loops. Because of that, I'm able to go from like track to track and like create loops on the fly, and then DJ and then play on top of those loops. So it's really cool because every time I DJ, people that are coming to my live shows, they're hearing songs that they probably heard 1,000 times, but they're hearing it for the first time the way that I DJ it, and with saxophone on top of it. So it's kind of cool,
That's really fun. Like the first time I ever had a hamburger with a fried egg on top. I was like, man, that's like I was like, yo, this shit is awesome, man. It's like the best of both worlds here, man. I get breakfast and dinner on a bun. Oh my God. And God forbid they put it on a Krispy Kreme donut, boy. It's over.
That's amazing. I love it.
Man. That is dope. So, all right, it's about time for us to take our next break. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna just kind of talk about your discography and just trying to talk about upcoming projects, people you like to work with. Just kind of wrap it up and just kind of, chop it up real good about some stuff that I didn't get a chance to catch up with, like different groups you worked with, so on and so forth. So, guys, this is the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. I'm your host, Derek Andre. I'm joined by my brother, FKA Jazz, talking about him DJing and playing the saxophone. Step your game up, folks. Step it up. This is also a Purpose Music Showcase, y'all. So when we come back, we got another video. We got another 2 videos because we got Air and Nothing at All. And I think we're going to do Nothing at All next. And when we come back, we'll talk about that, and then we'll keep it pushing. So we'll see you on the other side.
Killing.
You know you are a hot one. We are lime, we are laugh, we are chat, we no chill, we are hot one. Temperature rise, beer vibes in ya. This a hot one. Link up, connect, bust a sweat when you're the on the hot one. We gonna spice it up like fire.
I never thought I would tell this story, but I also never thought I would have this story to tell. It was heavy, and I can look back on it now, but I just couldn't remember what it felt like to be me. Looking in the mirror with a straight face, thinking of times I couldn't take breaks. Took them anyway, sitting in a safe place. Threw the pen away, had a nerve to change pace. The insight right before the cage breaks. The flip side feels like a stalemate. The gift dies if it lies still too long. And then the last song ends up a blues song. Truth comes by like a train on the railways. Then goosebumps rise, feeling like a braille page. If that for life gets spilled on different stages, and that defines what the face-to-face was. And while retracing steps drifting away, getting left on a much different wavelength. And then the sun strolls out like it was never raining. All boils down to what we consider entertainment. Myself too though. Been long since that positive mojo feels off. Where'd that confidence boost go? Something real wrong with this opposite new role. But never been simpler to tell the truth though. Sometimes, and I know you know I'm talking to myself more than you, so it's cool, no problem. You can do it too, yo. Truth told, just that quick you can lose focus. And then in black ink, writing blue notes about yourself in the past tense. In a moment that you don't have a map to get back into your true zone. Move forward. But who knows when the road bends or where the middle ground is, burning candles at both ends. Yo, man, they trying to meet new friends. Barely see my own friends I know since before I was a grown man. But always staying home don't make no sense.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Muse Live Entertainment Showcase. I'm your host, Derek Andre, and I'm joined by my man, FKA Jazz. And I know you guys are enjoying watching these videos. So what I recommend that you do is go on over to the FKA Jazz YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that reminder bell so when this brother drops new music, you can see the visuals. Okay,
That would be dope.
That's what it's all about. You got to make sure you support. That's how you support. There's lots of free ways to support artists. It doesn't always have to be monetary. You can just show support by watching a video. All right, it costs you nothing at all. Speaking of nothing at all,
That was classic. Yeah,
what do you know about that segue, son? I do this.
that was amazing. I love it. That was amazing.
So nothing at all. There's a part 1 and a part 2. You all just witnessed part 2. So that included Leo Coltrane. Is he any kin to John Coltrane?
No, he's not. But I love the fact that he like the way he flows sounds like a jazz musician.
Yeah, that's true. You got Uncle Nephew. He worked with one of our previous guests, and Noah McNeil. So tell us how that collaboration came to be.
Okay, so like Noah, I've like me and Noah, who's the pianist on this record, he has been a friend of mine for like over a decade.
Yeah.
Uncle Nephew and I think who you were referring to was BD3.
Yes.
Me, BD3, and Uncle Nephew, we started a collective together called True Culture. Just a couple of homies, really just like deciding we're gonna take some time to make some music together and then also do some shows together. And so we've been doing that since 2018, I believe. And we were friends obviously before that, but then really starting the collective together, that's where our friendship really culminated into brotherhood. And then Leo was I'm trying to remember how we met. Like I've been DJing for a while, and like I feel like he just came to one of my DJ sets, and we met online. I think we met off of Instagram, something like that. And I was like, yo, I really dig what you're doing. You should come out to a show. And then we actually met in person. And so that's how we met. And decided right away to do a collaboration together. So that was really organic and beautiful.
And it sounds great, man. As a poet, I like really solid jazz instrumentals. You know what I mean? And I love the fusion of jazz and hip hop, and stuff like that. And your music is like that culmination, of all that, and that. And it's I'm gonna make up a word here. It's vibable, very vibable.
Hey man, I love that. That. I usually tell people I'm not a beat maker, I'm a vibe maker. So that's right in line. That's right in line.
Yes. Vibable, man. I'm telling you. And you can use that if you want to name an album Vibable. I understand.
Cool.
Feel free.
That's what's up. I don't need to give you 10%, right?
No, you good, man. Just shout me out on the album, man. Just shout me out.
All right.
No, gotcha. Man. And speaking of projects, just give us just like a Cliff Notes versions up of your projects, where they could find them, and all the way up to your most recent one that you're working on, which you talked about was Of Air and Space. I mean, of Space and Earth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Air is the single that's coming out, so I totally get it.
We got the video.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, I've since 2016 I've been using this moniker FKA Jazz, which has primarily been a mix of hip hop, jazz, R&B, Black American music as a whole, and I've been I've released a ton of records. The first full-length album that I put out was in 2017. Then I put out another album in 2019 that hit the billboards, which is amazing. And then in 2020, I put out 10 separate releases, all either singles or like kind of like 3-piece projects, small EPs. All of that if you really want to support the music, you can go to fkajazz.com. You can directly just download the records, and then later you can listen to them on Spotify or Apple Music and all of
Yeah,
that good
right.
stuff,
Yeah.
because as us artists like to say, for every one download equals like 100, or 300 depending on the platform, streams. So
Streams. Yeah.
if you really want to support, go to FKE Jazz, download a record, also, like, if you want to get a t-shirt, do that as well. That's like amazing. And I usually try to put music that is not released yet on my website before it goes out on
Yeah.
Spotify and all that stuff. But you can also, if that's not your stick and you don't want to do that, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Music. I'm everywhere that you stream music, as well as YouTube. So there's all of the different options,
Yeah.
that you can
Well,
take in order to listen to the music.
so you hear that, folks? You have literally no excuses for not supporting independent artists, man. And that's what the Muse is all about, man. We bring you these brilliant artists, every other week to show you that the world has really good music. You might have to look for it sometime because we know how radio airplay can be, no shade. I'm not trying to throw shade also, but truth be told, the best music, honestly, you're not going to really find on the radio.
That's what's up.
I mean, that's the God honest truth. I wish that I could say that you could find it on the radio, but that's not the case. So, well, brother, you know what? This has been a heck of an interview. We got about 2 minutes left, not even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I just want to say my thank yous because we want to make sure we got enough time to play your last video air. I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on the Muse and chill out with me and chop it up a little bit. The door is always open. We will say we'll leave the light on for you, but that bill got high. Last time we left the light on, people just, I'm like, man, we're going to turn this light off. They're going to knock. We'll let them get here. But no, man, anytime you got anything new that you want to release or you want to talk about or, feel free, man. The door is always open for you. We'd love to have you. Told the same thing to BD3. All-purpose music artists. We love it, man. We love sharing your work, and that's why we're here. So, brother, thank you. Socials. Tell them where we got a couple minutes. Tell them where they can find you. A couple seconds. Tell them where they can find you on social media.
It's very easy. FKA Jazz, all one word, everywhere. Nobody thought of FKA Jazz other than me for some reason, and I was like, I am making sure that I'm on Twitter, on Instagram, all of that as FKA Jazz. So you can find me at FKA Jazz or fkajazz.com.
All right, cool. All right, brother, thank you so much again for giving us your time. I've enjoyed this interview, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the very near future.
Yeah, man, I gotta come to Atlanta and get a drink with you, man.
I
feel like we'll laugh the whole time.
That's right. We will have a ball. I need to come to New York so I can watch you play the saxophone and DJ. That on my bucket list.
Nice. All right,
brother. Good thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right, peace.